early call from you still stays with me. I remember about 7 months ago, you turned around to me. I was sitting at home. I think you were at home as well, naturally. And you turned around and you said it would take about 10 years to fill the output gap. Do you still feel that way, Bob?
No, I don't feel that way anymore. I think the policy response has been so overwhelming from what we anticipated, particularly coming out of the Treasury and the Fed, and then you have to roll that out globally and see what has happened. So in our view, the output gap probably closes within 5 years, which means you've got to roll forward the timetable for the Fed beginning to normalize things. I think the other thing very important in this mix is how China has done. And China got on top of the pandemic. And when you look at their economy, it's actually doing quite well. We were looking at domestic air travel. It's back to full capacity. So that tells us that that could be a blueprint for the Western world, that as the vaccine rolls out, people are anxious to get out of their homes and consume again.
Bob, that's a huge call, though, that shift from 10 years into 5. How's the market call evolved with your economic thinking?
Yeah, it has to, and I'm anxious to see what happens in the coming year. I think the market is pretty sanguine that 10-year Treasury yields are going to remain around 125. There are some calls for 150. I remember after the financial crisis, the 10-year traded at 1.5% to 2%. In my mind, if you've got a vaccine-led global reopening with the current supply shock, can the Fed sit there and watch inflation print 2.5% month after month, and some measures at 3%, and still say that they're going to wait until we reach full employment and we're sustainably above 2%? It reminds me of the great philosopher Mike Tyson, who said, everyone has a plan until you're punched in the face. And I think in the second and the third quarter, the Fed's going to be punched in the face, and they're going to have the reality of a lot of above-trend growth and some inflationary pressure. Then we'll have to see where the output gap is and if they can still remain patient.